Hi, my name's Justin Gray. I'm an engineer, producer, educator, and artist from Toronto, up in Canada, and I'm here at AES 2024 in New York City. On a daily basis, I am moving between being a mix engineer, mostly in immersive audio, and a dedicated mastering engineer in both stereo and immersive audio. The formats that I'm most commonly involved with is definitely Dolby Atmos. I've been working in that format for a long time, since about 2017, and prior to that, very passionate about the world of immersive audio. And so I'm working with artists from everywhere in the world in a really wide variety of styles. That includes a lot of pop music, which I refer to as like spatial remixing, where I'm reimagining songs in an immersive environment. But also, especially within my Toronto community, I'm embedded in this sort of jazz world and acoustic music scene. So as an engineer, I'm mixing, producing, and recording a really wide variety of instruments and styles. The most important thing in the entire chain of creating recordings is what is the source and what is the intent of that source in the production. So the first thing I'm always doing is I'm listening to it, and then I'm doing my very best to understand what do I want to do with this later. When I'm choosing microphones, as engineers, we create relationships with those microphones. We understand, okay, here's this source, a vocalist, a guitar, an orchestra, a string quartet, a drum set. How is it supposed to sound at the mix stage? How is it supposed to integrate into the song, into the production? I don't necessarily expect anything particular from a microphone. Rather, I've created relationships with the microphones to know what they do. And that's where the Schoeps microphones come in for me. Most of the time, I have the pleasure of working with musicians who are extremely good at what they do. I'm also very fortunate to work in lovely spaces. Toronto has a lot of studios. And actually, where I am an educator, I'm on faculty at Humber College in Toronto. We have gorgeous spaces for recording, including our studio. And the combination of wonderful musicianship and wonderful spaces usually means I want to capture exactly what I hear. I love the way that the musician is performing. As a producer, we work together to get that performance. So actually, I'm not looking for the microphone to get in the way of that process. I'm looking for that microphone to capture every single aspect of all of the detail that we're working together as a musical team to create. And that is what the Schoeps microphones have done for me in every single project I've ever been involved in. Basically, I oftentimes think to myself, why would I not use a Schoeps in this case? There are times, of course, we might want to use a large diaphragm tube mic or a ribbon microphone to create some sort of specific texture. But what I expect from the Schoeps microphones and what they always deliver is if I just place it properly and the musician is doing their job and performing beautifully, everything is there afterwards, and then I'm always happy at the mix stage. There's a project of my own music that I composed specifically for immersive audio over the last number of years. The reason I got into immersive audio was really because of the musical potential. And I think what really excites me as an artist is the opportunity to go to the composition and actually spatialize the elements at the source. So this project involves 38 musicians from around the world. It's all original music, specifically conceived to come to life in the Dolby Atmos format. It's 35 or 40 days of recording, so a lot of overdub layers, but every single day and every layer of that music was tracked with specific immersive intent. And so that means close mics, but also microphones in the space that are intended to allow that instrument to then sit in the mix spatially where it was intended. So if I want the brass in the back, I arrange and orient the microphones in such a way. So in that project, I had on hand about 17 Schoeps microphones. 11 of them were always used for a 7+4 channel immersive array. That was in the middle of the room, and it was always available for me to orient the musicians in such a way that they could address that array. But then I also had a number of other close mics. So for instance, the MK41 sometimes for something like hi-hat, or if I wanted to isolate something, some MK2s if I wanted to do piano, or also have additional ambient microphones in the space. And ultimately, some of the track counts on this project, because of the nature of the immersive recording, 38 musicians, 30 days of recording, there are definitely songs that cross 500-600 tracks of audio. This is where it really matters, the noise floor and the clarity and the lack of harmonic distortion. Because if you stack that many microphone signals of the same microphone on top of each other over and over and over, this is where the problems really arise. Noise floor would be a disaster and make some of the performances unusable eventually in the mix. Harmonic distortion would start to become very apparent, and pairing the Sheps with proper preamps and in a lovely quiet space with these musicians. Honestly, the whole core of the sound of the record is these microphones being placed to do their job of capturing close sounds and reflections. And it allowed me to realize what I wanted as a composer and as a producer. Sheps.